Hello and welcome to the Dashcore Group Development Update. My name is Balázs, and I'm here with the core, mobile, and platform teams to give you an update what happened in the past 2 weeks. We are planning this session for 60 minutes, and we will answer your questions in a separated, dedicated Q&A session at the end. So please feel free to ask questions, give us comments, feedback in the chat below, in the live chat below. Please use a Q or a question prefix so that I know that is a question dedicated to us. All right, without further ado, let's jump in. Starting with the platform teams.
Yep, I'll take it. So the overview. Lukasz, myself, and Ivan, we were working on the Rust SDK. We also, me and Ivan, worked on some bugs. I forgot to mention it, that we'll get into in Drive ABCI. Platform terminal interface, Evgeny, me and Ivan as well. We've been focusing a lot on getting connectivity working, getting state transitions to basically the interaction to go faster, to get the Rust SDK a lot smoother, a lot of things like that. Withdrawals, Igor and Odi have taken those up. And without further ado, let's go on and talk about things. Oh, and also Paul was on the terminal interface. I forgot to mention him here. Sorry, Paul, from research. So we're going to start today by talking about the major issues we found and how we solved them. So one of the major issues we solved, and this is actually something that we had known about for a very long time and that we just basically forgot about it. So and we kind of just forgot about it, was that if a data contract was updated, the old document serialization would still exist. So let's imagine you broadcast a document to platform in data contract version 1, and then you update your data contract and you add a new field. I gave an example here. Let's imagine you have a document, it has a first name, last name, and you want your users to now be able to put in their middle name, with an optional middle name. So yeah, you do that. However, this would break because it would deserialize first name, last name. It would put the last name as the middle name. It would not find a last name, and it would just be terrible. We always knew this problem existed. We just had kind of pushed it off and then forgot about it. And then when we found it again more recently, we were like, oh, yep, forgot about that one. And so yeah, basically the solution is for every field, we now put a position. So we have first name. So the first name and last name would be position 0, position 1, and then we'd add middle name at position 2. And during the deserialization of old documents, middle name wouldn't exist. So it would just get no middle name. And this has been tested. Any version of any data contract can deserialize any document. So that's actually a pretty good feature. So for example, if you have a data contract that you know on your mobile device that hasn't been updated, let's say it's at version 1 and platform has version 20, version 1 can still deserialize version 20. It just, a lot of fields will be missing. Right. So we'll take the big document. For example, in this case, it won't be able to know the middle name, even though the middle name is given back to it. It will just ignore the stuff that it's not able to deserialize within the document. So it's a pretty elegant solution, and we're pretty happy with it. We reviewed it, we tested it, we merged it, and we released it last week. Okay. Major issue number 2, and this one goes to Ivan, who figured it out.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sam. I would like to add something about the previous one. as you said, we deployed on the testnet last week on Friday, I believe. And please update your data contracts. So now you need to specify position field when you define this, even for the nested objects. The new position keyword should exist, and it should be sequential, as Sam said, like starting from 0 without gaps. So, for example, if you define the properties, use this field. Okay, about the next issue. That was interesting one. It take a while to figure out what's actually happening, because the way how it appears was pretty strange. We noticed that on testnet, some nodes are crashing with wrong app hash, and we're like, oh, non-determinism bug. And then we realized that actually it's happening right after the restart. So something changing in Drive, and it's starting to producing the different app hash for the blocks. For people who don't remember what is app hash, is the Merkle root hash of the whole platform state, and it represents the state data. We started to look back to our previous previous versions, trying to figure out where we introduced this problem, and we ended up that it was long ago in version 25.8 that was released in October 20, so almost a month ago. It's interesting that we didn't notice this issue before. Probably we're not restarting our nodes much. And to find this issue, we refactored, we improved the logging in Drive ABCI and other components, including GroveDB. So now we log the not just the list of operations, what we do in GroveDB, but in the keys on which you do updates, but also the values what we're changing. So that helped us to figure out that actually the platform version logic has the issue. So when we restart the system, it fetch the cache back from the state, and the cache is a bit different than before. Protocol version cache, just as a reminder, this thing what we use for protocol upgrade. So every even node, when they propose the block, it also could propose a version, latest version that it has currently, or even lower version. So we can go up and we can go down. And to make a decision at the end of the epoch, it's about, what is about, Sam? 9 days now?
Yeah, 9.125 days.
Yeah, thank you. We checking all the votes what were made during this period and make a decision to switch to next version in 2 epochs from now. Protocol cache is basically a set of votes to versions. So version and how many votes for this version of votes. And the bug was, it's pretty funny and simple. It was in the fetch protocol version. I'm laughing because we spent like several days to find it, but the issue was pretty trivial. Instead of restoring the version to votes, it was a typo, and we restored the version to version. So yeah, Be
Let me
very
just
happy to fix that.
let me just explain that a little bit. So like for version 1, it would always give back 1 instead of giving back the amount of votes of Evo nodes voting for version 1, it would just give back 1 on restart. So yeah, very small, minor typo, but caused a lot of headache, especially for Yvonne.
True. Thank
But
you.
I just like inserting these bugs to give him a little bit of. I sprinkle them.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. Lucas, take this.
Yeah, so hi. So I was working mainly on Rust SDK, and here we did 4 features. First one to get epochs and data for the get epochs. It just fetches the list of epochs from the platform. It's an endpoint that developer can use to get these epochs. The same for multiple data contracts at once, and also 2 endpoints to get version update information. First one is version upgrade state that shows whether or not we updated the version of the platform, and second is information about voting, so which node votes for which version. And these 2 endpoints allow us to know what version the platform should use. And we are in progress in terms of modification of the platform state. So state transitions. Right now we are working on putting identity and document changes using state transitions. And we are also building a mock wallet to do it more easy to test whatever we do, right? So we want to have a framework that will allow us to put identity to the platform and to test it this way. And that's more or less it when it comes to the Rust SDK. So external developers will be able to use these endpoints, and we have a few more to go. And that's it from me.
Thank you.
Well, thanks. I think
Sam?
I'll take this. Yeah, so identity registration. So again, we can register an identity just as we could last week. In fact, it's better now than it used to be, but we still have some issues. And the some issues make it very annoying to do a demo because the registration fails 50% of the time, and then you have to wait a minute and then restart it, and then it will work 90% of the time after you restart it. And Ivan has figured out why. He's fixing that right now. And we're very close to having that completely finished. Top up is failing for exactly the same reason. It works most of the time. Well, it works often. It doesn't work. It works like 50% of the time. So we will show that off in a demo next in 2 weeks from now. And yeah, I also coded up identity withdrawal. So the screens are all working, the state transition happens. We just need the state transition to work. And so that's, withdrawals aren't finished yet. So we can't really say that this is done because we want the feedback and we want to make sure everything is good. But the UI part of it is done. Identity refresh, that's a simple one. It just basically refreshes your identity. There was a lot of UI upgrades of the terminal interface this sprint. We also have the calls for platform information built in. I did that in about an hour before the review. We found a small little error there in the SDK. So not an error really. It wasn't working exactly how I was expecting it to. So we also are in progress, but we're in progress. Like all of these are very close to being done. Most of them work. They just are not in a demoable state. Like they do send the request to the SDK, they get the information back. But for the first ones, it fails. For withdrawals, we need withdrawals to be finished. And for platform information, well, basically the problem is when you request platform information, if you put no platform information, like if you put like I want to get the current one, it doesn't actually get the current one, it gets a different one. So we'll fix that very quickly. Okay, so next part of the terminal interface. Next screen. Yeah, so what's more interesting is the random document submission, the document fetching that I got finished, SQL-based queries. So you can basically just type in your query to platform and press done, and then you'll get it back. Autocomplete is a feature that I'm building out, that I'm going to build out in the sprint, basically making it so it's more easy to do the query that you want to do based off of the document, based off of the contract. So when you're typing out your query, it will basically give you suggestions and that you can autocomplete. So I'm going to do a quick demo of basically the terminal interface and what it looks like nowadays. And I think people are going to see a big difference compared to before. So, and also like show it working for the first time ever, document submission. There you guys go. So do people see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So we have a few extra things here than before. I think last time we didn't have platform information. I mean, we can go into platform information and we can fetch recent platform information, but I was just working on this and I believe that if I did it, it would error. Well, I mean, I'll try. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so basically I'm not done with that. But very, very soon, to probably like within an hour, I'll have finished that one. So when we look at our wallet, we actually see basically our core wallet at the top, the identity that we have. So they're basically like, for people who don't really understand or are new to this space, or new to our reviews, new to platform, we have our core wallet that's local, that has our private keys and everything. And then we have our identity that just is the representation on platform. So our identity is revision 0. It's never been updated. There's been no changes to it ever. It has a balance of 0.9969 dash. You see the identity ID there, 77. And it has 2 keys associated to it. One is a master key, another one is a key for updating documents and pushing documents. So we'll dive into the different keys and explain them at another review. Right now, it's not very pretty. It just says ECDSA key 2 times. We'll probably build in a key visualizer that it makes it like more obvious what each key is meant for doing, and then you can add keys for specific things. Okay, so let's go back. Yeah, so like if I were to type W right now, it would try to withdraw balance. It wouldn't work, and it would probably like crash. So I'm not going to do that. You know, we can refresh the wallet UTXOs and balance. I think I demoed that last time. We can refresh the identity. If I press R right now, it's refreshing the identity, but there's no change. So, okay, so let me go back and let's go into contracts, because this is a lot more fun. So right now I've loaded 2 contracts, DPNS and DashPay. You can fetch system contracts right now if you want by going in and fetching them. Like I think I demoed this last time as well. Like you can fetch a DashPay contract, for example, right? And get the DashPay contract. But yeah, so we're going to go into the DPNS contract. We're going to go into, I mean, you can choose which one you want, like domain, pre-order. I'm going into pre-order because it's kind of the smallest thing, and it's very easy to create a document for it. So here I'm basically going to broadcast a random document. So it will take the document type, it will find the fields, and it will basically create random values and broadcast it to platform. So just I'm going to type B here. And it did it. And if we checked actually here, the platform balance, I do believe the platform balance went down. Let's do it again. Yeah, see, it went down by 0.0003 dash, which makes this a very, very, very cheap document to broadcast a platform. The fee costs are pending, meaning that they're not final. We're probably going to have to change that. But as you guys can see, it's very cheap right now to broadcast this document. Now, let's imagine we want to see what we just did. We're going to query platform. So query. So I'm just going to, as I said, this is SQL. So it's auto put in what we probably want. I'm going to press enter here. And here, now we see all the documents of pre-order and platform. Actually, not all, it's the first 100, but there aren't that many yet on pre-order documents yet. So, we can go down and up. How do you do this? Oh yeah, we can go down and up, and we can see like, okay, so the first one, my ID is 77. So the second one was made by me. The first one was made by somebody else. And, you can just, you have all of the different documents. Yeah, so let's go back. Let's see. Yeah, and we can do this for other documents as well. For other contracts, for any contract. In fact, you can import your contract and you can visualize all the documents on platform very easily. You can also do like where ID equals, I mean, I've actually never tested that. And if you guys want, let's crash the whole thing in real time. Let's see if this actually works. Actually, will it work? It might. It might. Let's try. Okay. So we need to copy this version. Oh, no, there's no copying. There's no copying. I don't know how to do that.
Make screenshot. You can make screenshot and then copy from the picture. Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
We can read it to you. Like 2, 4, U, J, and you can type it in. I'm not gonna do that though. We have Flash for that.
I think everybody on this call wanna see me suffer. So like maybe I just type it out. It would probably go faster. Or I have really never done this. So I apologize in advance if it will not work. We are debugging all together. Okay, so now I just need to actually find the oh, wait a second. Can I copy this? Oh, I can copy it. Oh, did it work? Oh no. Oh no. Sorry, guys.
It would be nice if you cannot paste here.
Okay, so I think this is correct. Oh, hopefully the character auto character thing is correct. And let's see what happens when we press return. Once again, I have, is ID capitalized, by the way, Ivan? Or is it?
No.
Or is it, no, it's like this?
It's base 58. Yeah.
No. The where ID, is the I in ID capitalized?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, guys. We are going to try. Yes! It works! See? I had no idea if it would work. So we got one thing back from platform. So as you guys can see, the querying works. This is not a secondary index query. We can actually do a secondary index query. I mean, why not? People, we did that just now. Let's do a secondary index query. So we have this salted domain hash. If I'm not mistaken, there is a secondary index on the salted domain hash for
Correct.
DPNF. Yes. So let us just do it. I'm excited. Where it's like now this is now a feature that no other blockchain project has that I'm about to show you guys. Let's see if it actually works. The culmination of years of work right now. Dun dun dun. Is it gonna work? No, it crashed. Let's see what actually the error was. Maybe it's nothing. No, no error. No error was given. Okay, well, next time it will work. Promise, guys. I really had never tried it out because I got the query working like 30 minutes ago. So yeah, and we can actually also query hours. So basically it will auto put your owner ID here. There is no secondary index on hours, so I have to disable this for this document, but some documents have a secondary index like this. Okay, that is my demo. I hope everybody enjoyed it. So let us go to who's next, actually.
Igor.
Igor?
That would be me, yes. Okay, so this week, me and Odysseus from the core team were focused on finalizing withdrawals logic in the whole system. So we have kind of separate pieces right now. We have pretty much 80 to 90% of the work done in RSRIPE DCI. We have around 70% of the work done in JS SDK. We have 10% of the tests done in Platform Test Suite. And I would assume we have almost 100% done in core. So we're trying to assemble all pieces together. And so far, I managed to connect SDK to ResDrive, and withdrawals are successfully being broadcasted and stored on the disk. However, the broadcast logic of the transaction, core transaction, hasn't been done yet, and this is currently in progress. Odysseus is helping me with that. We adjusted a few things on drive side, and we're also updating one RPC method on the core side right now. So we'll see next week how it will go. And yeah, this is about the withdrawals. The other thing I was doing is about limiting amount of transactions per tender dash block. This is generally to not exceed allowed block size. Sometimes it is possible that there are more transactions for proposal than the allowed max block size, and we have to handle that on the drive side. So yeah, this is it on my side. Both things are in progress, and we continue on them next sprint. I think I have to hand it over to Ivan now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Igor. It will be quick. So during the testing of the Platform Explorer, now the the demo what Sam did, it was against testnet, but to isolate the problems what we have, or it's easier to run it against local networks, so you can control the environment, change things, and see the changes immediately. I mean, the API or drive, and you have basically controlled environment. So to make it work, we had to introduce Insight to Dashmate. So because Platform Explorer is using Insight, the simplified wallet in Platform Explorer using Insight to get into source. And yeah, so now you have an option in Dashmate configuration to start Insight or API or Insight, even Insight UI for your node. It might be interesting for some developers. Next thing, Przemik from Dash Incubator did great job on the Node.js migration of the version. It was not just Node.js version. He also updated all the dependencies, JavaScript dependencies, and he rewrote Dashmate to ESM modules, and I helped him a little bit with the CI and other stuff to make it work. So this item here more like for notification for you guys to update Node.js, for developers to update Node.js to version 20 if you're working with the platform repository. Yeah, Lukasz updated, he did a huge PR and auto-fixed and not just auto-fix, but fixed many Clippy warnings, what he collected for months or years. And that's very nice. So it improved the code quality now. And he introduced two nice features for CI pipelines. So now we test not just the default feature set for each crate, each package, Rust package, what we have, but we also testing each feature of this crate separately. So we make sure that if user use the specific features in their application, it's going to work. Yeah, and another nice check was introduced by Lukasz to, if I don't remember, it's like Cargo Machete, the thing that allow you to figure out what dependencies you're not actually using. So he introduced the check for the dependencies of our crates to keep them tiny and actual. So we don't need to compile extra stuff and maintain extra stuff. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's move on with the core team.
Actually, before that, there was one thing that I forgot to say. 2 weeks ago, we had talked about stress tests. We did not start on the stress test. I'm sure this is going to be a question that we asked, but we did update the strategies a lot. So we are ready for the stress test a lot more than we were like 2 weeks ago. The stress test will happen like almost sure now in the next 2 weeks. We were just having a lot of problems getting ready for the stress test, as well as two major issues that had stopped testnet, which we really needed to solve instead. So we're going to be starting on the stress test very soon.
Did we say that testnet platform is working on testnet now?
Oh yeah, platform's been working, but it's been working for 10 days now, right?
Since Friday.
Oh, time. What is time?
Not
okay.
Exists.
Yeah. Error undefined. Okay. Let us go to the core team.
Yeah, all right. So thank you, Balash and Sam. So in the last 2 weeks, we have released version 2001. 2001 is a very minor version, really optional for everyone. There's only a few small changes that fix a crash that we only observed on -qt on testnet, as well as I think there was one other small issue that it fixed, but not really a mandatory update by any definition. However, in this last week, we got a lot of notifications from Masternode owners about getting random proof of service scores. As such, we worked with them and collected some logs and CPU samplings and everything like that to identify any possible issues. And we did find a pretty substantial issue that Odie's going to talk about in a second. Before I pass it over to him, though, I do want to mention briefly that we're up to about 65% upgraded to version 20 or 20.01 for masternodes, and miners are close to around 40 to 50%. We are reaching out and communicating as much as we can to try and get additional miners to upgrade. The threshold is still pretty close to 80%. The next threshold will drop down a little bit lower. All right, like I said, we found this issue with proof of service scores, and Odie spent quite a bit of time debugging it and figuring out. So Odie, would you like to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. So before going to the issue, let me describe a bit the feature that we were trying to implement before introducing the bug. So so far, masternodes keep all the secret key shares and verification vector for every forum they've been participating. So that can be quite some data. So we decided to introduce a cleanup mechanism to drop those data for old quorums. In addition, with the platform team, we decided to keep the private key share and verification vector for 2 months of platform at any time, in case eventually if platform restarts or whatever, because they need to resign stuff in the past. So masternodes need to have their secret key share. So far so good. So we implemented this mechanism that was programmed to be triggered every 576 blocks. So this is once per day. So problem number one, this was aligned with rotation starting. Problem number two, this was done in the block validation thread. So as is this quite heavy cleanup operation that takes around 3 minutes to complete the first time, it causes the first block of the DKG to be very slow to process, meaning that we miss crucial parts of the DKG and gets the result is getting a proof of service score. So we managed to identify this issue, and we prepared the fix, which is currently in review, or maybe it is also merged during this call. So basically, we moved this mechanism from a background thread, first of all, and second one, as a safety, we trigger this in a time frame where no DKG can happen. So we really limit the possibility of slowing down masternodes during the critical DKG phase. So we are planning to release a hotfix, so version 20.0.2 during the next days. As far as from v20.x development, I've already said that we dropped the non-deterministic instance unlocks support, and we continue the BIP 324 support. So basically P2P encryption that is being backported from Bitcoin project into ours. This is planned for v21. So Pasta, would you continue, please?
Yeah, thanks, Odie. So like he said, we're going to be releasing a 20.0.2 in the near future, and that will be a strongly recommended upgrade for all masternodes to avoid these proof of service issues. All right, can we go to the next slide, Balazs? All right, here's the bi-weekly list of PRs that have been merged. You can kind of look through these and see if there's anything super interesting to you. There's nothing super duper interesting I want to talk about. We did make some improvements to GUIX for better debug symbols on macOS, as well as creating optional debug builds that we are planning to start delivering nightly builds of Dash Core that will be utilized on a small portion of testnet to ensure that our latest versions of develop don't include any kind of regressions or deadlocks or anything like that. So we've made a good bit of changes to figure that out. But otherwise, I think we are good to move forward, Balazs.
All right, thank you. Before we move on to the mobile team, I would like to ask you if you have any questions, please use the Q or question prefix so that we know that it is addressed to the Q&A session. Thank you. Let's move forward with the mobile team.
Yeah, thanks, Balazs. Progress to the next slide there. So a little lighter on the Android side again this week. We've been focusing a lot more on iOS. We'll see in a minute, but there was a small bug relating to v20 that we had to fix, and the CoinJoin features for the background processing was in testing at the time, as well as a bug relating to unused keys. And the initial very first kind of stage of the background processing was completed, as well as a small grammar error on the CloudNode information screen. The testnet mixing nodes actually was more kind of this sprint, but I think it's worth noting given the amount of CoinJoin work that's been going on. Hash has been using his own mixing nodes for his development, and we've got the infrastructure team to set up some mixing nodes on testnet now. So that kind of gets us into yet another phase of CoinJoin development, which is good to see. Go to the next slide there. So you can see a lot of stuff going on iOS, a lot of things that kind of rolled over from the previous sprint. Rest libraries being one of those still. We have started breaking that work up a little bit more granularly, so we can do some more frequent testing on the Android side, and continued work, which is now finished on v20. Few bugs, one relating to an issue that a user reported on EvoNode payouts, which caused some syncing issues, so that was fixed, as well as a quick scan issue and the same grammar error on the CloudNode information screen. Good progress being made on the username voting. This is all again on the UI side until the backend platform work is done, but really good progress on that UI work. And then there was an issue with the selection of currencies on the Coinbase portal. Again, another item that's more aligned with the current sprint as opposed to the last one, but just worth noting. Some of the bottom bits I think got cut off, but the Apple Store review that we had for the latest version of the iOS point release that we've been trying to get out There's some guidelines. I don't know how recently they were implemented, but new store guidelines that prevent decentralized exchanges from going onto the Play Store. That in addition to that, they're scrutinizing a lot more heavily any kind of integration with an exchange, whether it's well, particularly if it's a decentralized exchange, and or even just if it's a centralized exchange, making sure that they have certain information about it. One being that we have a valid relationship with the exchange to use their APIs, and then another is jurisdictionally, we can't have that exchange feature available to certain jurisdictions if the exchange is not licensed there. So a lot of crackdown on that side. I'm in contact with Coinbase and Uphold to hopefully get the information needed. If I can't get it by the time V20 is going to activate, we might have to temporarily hide those exchange integrations on iOS to make sure we can get the V20 support out. But so yes, hopefully we'll be seeing a point release on iOS come out hopefully within the next week or so. If not, the next release will be the major release to support V20 in a couple weeks. So that's it on mobile. Actually, one other point on that, I guess, that limitation on decentralized exchanges obviously is going to is a bit of a blocker for getting Maya on iOS. So we are going to continue when we have bandwidth to get Maya on Android, but yeah, it's until Apple lifts those restrictions, it's not even worth doing the development on iOS. It won't be accepted. So it's unfortunate. They do have a legal battle going on. Hopefully that'll address this, but only time will tell. That is it.
All right, thank you very much. So we don't have a question, any questions that starts with a prefix, but I see some questions related to what's next or what's next for the teams. So Sam, maybe if you could just talk about what's next in the testing phase.
Yeah, sure. We identified over the last sprint, we identified 2 other issues that we need to solve. They're not major issues, but they do need to be solved. They could cause platform to go down. So we have to fix those. They're having to do with synchronization between core and platform in various rare scenarios. Of nodes not being completely up to date on core or other issues like that. So we have to solve those issues. I've actually almost finished solving one. There should be a PR next week on that. Yeah, we basically still are going to go very strongly on stress tests. That's still, I mean, as I said, they still haven't happened. And hopefully during that time that half the team basically is working on stress tests, we should be getting withdrawals completed. And what else do we have? Well, as the last items, we have the finalization of masternode voting that was basically halted. We have to finish that. I pushed that to the very end after we make sure the platform is working properly and there's no problem. We have to reevaluate our fees to make sure that they cover all expenses for the actual. I mean, we have to look on disk. Okay, so we've created these 100 state transitions. These 100 documents. How much space do they use on our network, assuming the amount of nodes that we expect on mainnet, and how much will that cost the network, and how much is it costing the user, and is it costing the user the appropriate amount? That needs to happen. Am I missing something. I have these written down. Let me check. But I forget where I wrote it. Yeah, then we have to help the mobile team with the integration of the SDK if they need help. That definitely could be a thing. I do expect that they'll need help. Yeah, just more tests.
All right. Thank you very much for this outlook. If no further questions, thanks everybody for joining, and see you in 2 weeks.